Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are fun, yet very frustrating games, nearly perfect recreations of games that were very imperfect. Let's break down some of the things that ILCA opted to change, or not, for better and worse. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's JPR, and we're back with another video breaking down Pokemon remakes and how they compare to their original counterparts. If you missed the first 3 videos in this series, you can check it out in my retrospectives playlist. Bear in mind that this is going to be a very critical breakdown of these games, and I want to preface that by saying I actually had a decent amount of fun throughout this game, namely with the Grand Underground and the considerably buffed trainers, especially towards the end of the game. I think if this game does one thing right, it takes the points from Diamond and Pearl that were good and makes them great. The Underground was already really fun back in the day, and here they just took it and made it better. The Elite Four were already quite formidable in the original games, and I think they were taken to the next level here. Sinnoh was a fun region to explore, and having it so that the Pokédex negates the need to always bring a spare B-barrel with you makes exploration more fun and seamless than it's ever been before. I'll come back to some of these positive points later in the video because I know why you're all here. Everyone loves to hear complaints, and I do have a decent amount of those. While I think these games are alright, a lot of the time there are many nagging shortcomings from the original Diamond and Pearl that were kept here, and what's most frustrating is that many of these things were already fixed in Platinum. But if there's one thing that's more frustrating than these games not including Platinum content, it's your internet security being compromised, which is why this video is brought to you by NordVPN. Gamers, if there's one thing that we can all agree on, is that having no privacy on the internet sucks. That's why NordVPN allows you to easily connect to one of more than 5,000 worldwide servers to prevent your data from being leaked. On top of that already great benefit, if one of your favorite games or movies is blocked or unavailable in your country, you can switch to another country where that content is available in a simple click of a button. Say you're traveling outside the United States and you still want to hop on Netflix and watch all that good Pokemon and other anime. With NordVPN, that's no problem at all. Plus, it's one of the fastest VPN services in the world. You won't be able to detect any difference in your internet speed, so your gaming and movie sessions won't be interrupted by any extra lag. For Christmas this year, they're offering a 2-year deal plus 1 month for free for only $79. That's an absolutely massive 73% discount. Do the math, it's like $3 a month. That's nothing. Do not miss out on this monumental opportunity. Be sure to head over to nordvpn.com/JPR and use my special code JPR to protect your online data and more. That link will be down in the description and the comments as well. Now, when I say that these games are frustrating, I don't mean like in a, oh, this game is too hard type of way, because hopefully, if you guys know me, I've been advocating for harder Pokemon games for a long time now. I really appreciated how much stronger the gym leaders and other notable NPCs are in this game. My very short-lived Nuzlocke actually ended when Maylene's Bulk Up Lucario completely swept my team, and I was like, yeah, that's actually refreshing. That hasn't happened to me in any Pokemon game since 2007. Flint probably has some of the most insane plays I've ever seen a Pokemon NPC make. It's not just the teams that are better, the AI actually battles so much smarter than they do in any other game. They'll go for bold switch reads, they have synergy between their party members, they'll opt to not heal if they see a potential opening that they can take advantage of. I actually have to strategize if I want to beat strong opponents and not just bring a Pokemon with a type advantage. The strong opponents in this game are brilliantly designed. The frustrating part comes down to a lot of the other changes, or more often than not, lack of changes. Let's start with probably one of the biggest things, the auto EXP share. Despite the fact that you're gaining bare minimum 250% more EXP than you were in the original games, they adjust almost none of the opponent's levels to account for this. It's very easy to be overleveled, especially in the beginning. The silver lining is that the original Diamond and Pearl had a crazy level jump between Volkner and the Elite Four, so you shouldn't be too overleveled by the end of the game. I'm actually not a huge hater of the new baked-in EXP share either. I think anything that eliminates grinding is a godsend. Like, grinding is just not fun, period. I had a friend in high school who played Pokemon Sapphire every day, and he just wouldn't challenge the Elite Four until he grinded all of his Regis until they hit level 90, and just watching him made me not want to play Pokemon. I know that's way more than what most people do, but still, grinding is a pain and I welcome any and all potential solutions. This system actually gave me the opportunity to experiment with a few dozen different Pokemon during my journey and find what really worked for me without getting too far behind. I do think that for people who want a more traditional 6-party members only experience, they should have included an option to disable it. I don't think EXP share should be reverted to an item that you carry around, but bare minimum, just put an option in the menu that lets people play with it on or off. Even if EXP share didn't ruin my personal experience with the game, that doesn't mean it's a one-size-fits-all type of deal. I know this isn't really a Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl specific complaint, it's been like this for a few years now, just always give the players options. Although I will say I think the EXP share was far better balanced in Sword and Shield, where NPC levels progressed more smoothly and there overall were far less trainers to fight against, so they could have improved on that front. What's exceptionally worse than EXP share in my opinion is how affection and friendship are handled. In Sword and Shield these two mechanics were merged together, but it was largely unnoticeable until the end of the game because the affection boosts were gated off till pretty high levels, unless you messed around in Pokemon Camp a lot. In this game, it's an active tug of war to keep your Pokemon's friendship levels low. They just gain friendship absurdly fast in this game, and it seems like most people start unlocking affection bonuses around the second gym. That is crazy fast. I pretty much had to go out of my way to exclusively heal my Pokemon with a bitter herbal medicine from Eterna City for the rest of the game, just so they would like me less and keep some semblance of challenge alive. This is also where I think EXP share gets too much flack from the community, because before you've even realized it, your Pokemon are already gaining 20% more EXP than they normally would due to affection bonuses. EXP share just amplifies this effect when normally it wouldn't be that big of an issue. And that's probably why it's so easy to become overleveled in these games. Again, if you use the herbal medicine constantly and make an effort to shift Pokemon in and out of your team, you can negate this. It's just a constant struggle to do so throughout the game. And if you walk with your Pokemon out of their Pokeball, this just skyrockets the rate at which you gain friendship, making it nearly impossible to undo all the broken effects it brings, which I will now display on the screen in case you didn't already know about them. It just sucks because walking with your Pokemon is a dope feature, it just feels right, but as someone who seeks challenge, I am actively punished for using the mechanic. Again, like the EXP share, why can't I just turn affection bonuses off? I may do a larger video on affection someday because I have some very strong feelings about it, but I don't want this particular video to get too long. Bottom line, they actually made these games really hard, which I definitely appreciate, but you have to constantly monitor yourself and limit your options to get that really gratifying experience. And I think that really sucks. Like, it's so backwards. You have to put in more effort to make the game harder. That's not how it should work. But here is where the bulk of my issues with the game lies. The quote-unquote faithfulness of these games. I think it's reasonable to expect the distortion world wouldn't be in these games. I think it's even reasonable to expect that the Battle Frontier would not be in these games. I think it's unreasonable for basic upgrades to the Sinnoh experience made in Platinum to be removed. Things like moving Fantina's gym back to 5th in line, recreating the original game's pacing issues, reverting the Pokedex to the Diamond and Pearl Dex, which was terrible even in 2006, making Barry have an unevolved level 26 Starly in his third battle, or having Crasher Wake's gym be lower leveled than Maylene's. Platinum fixed all of these things, but in the name of blind faithfulness, we're going back to the much more flawed Diamond and Pearl. This extends down to even the most minor of things, like recreating the boring interiors of all the game's buildings, which Platinum also fixed, or opting to use the original Pokédex design from Diamond and Pearl and not the revised version from Platinum that included a back button. Again, this is faithfully recreating Diamond and Pearl to a fault, a literal flaw in the game's design. Nobody would have been out burning furniture in the streets if you simply used the Platinum Pokédex with an extra button. I doubt most people would have even noticed. I know this is an incredibly small and inconsequential thing to complain about, but it's indicative of many of the larger problems affecting the quality of these games. Such as, the Pokemon. Most Pokemon that were added to the Platinum Pokedex are strictly confined to the Grand Underground, while above ground the NPC teams and wild encounter tables on most routes go back to being as boring as humanly possible. I swear in the first 10 hours of this game you are either fighting a Starly, Bidoof, Geodude, or Wurmple evolution 80% of the time. If you're Nuzlocking, you get to the point where certain routes have nothing new to offer due to how few Pokemon there are. The lack of variety is enough to put me to sleep in the middle of some of the longer routes. I used to think, well, it sucks that the NPCs don't have their Platinum teams, but at least team building for myself won't be nearly as tedious, and I won't be forced to use the same team as everybody else on the planet. Hold on there, Jethro. Team building in this game is the single most frustrating aspect yet. Yes, you're able to get most of these Platinum Pokemon in some way, but in the most roundabout, annoying fashion possible. So, for example, I really wanted to use Electivire on my team, so instead of just catching an Elekid at Valley Windworks like you could do in Platinum, instead I have to go underground, dig up some electric statues to increase its very low spawn chance, go to this specific room at the other end of the map, and maybe I'll find an Elekid. But wait, you can't just catch the Elekid and be done with it, because unlike Platinum, the Electorizer isn't easily obtainable during the main story. So instead, I have to keep running in loops around this room waiting hours for an Elekid to show up holding the Electorizer, which is only a 5% chance by the way. Even though in original Diamond, Elekid had a 50% chance of holding the item. Not very faithful of you to lower those odds so drastically, eh, Ilka? It's during this intense cardio session that I realized that my Pokemon are gaining even more affection from me just running around in circles waiting for this absurdly rare Pokemon to spawn, so into the box they go. And boom, just like that, we have an Electorizer. So let's recap. A 2-step process in Platinum was turned into a 5-step process in these games. For what reason? Faithfulness to the originals? If that were the case, I wouldn't even be able to get Elekid to begin with. Why give me easy access to the Platinum Pokemon, but make their evolutions nearly impossible to obtain? In some cases, they are impossible to get during the main story. Rhyhorn, Gligar, and Duskull can all be caught through the underground, but all of their respective evolution items are completely unobtainable until after completing the main story. Why even put them in at all? And then there's Eevee, one of the only Platinum Pokemon that just isn't in the main story at all. So if you wanted Leafeon or Glaceon, or even any of the evolutions for that matter, you know, fan favorite Pokemon here, well, you better just boot up Platinum on your Nintendo DS instead. Mew and Jirachi weren't in the original decks, but they're just handed to you in Floroma Town. You're telling me that you can get 2 Mythicals with only 1 gym badge, but if I want a simple Eevee, I have to wait till post-game? Where's the logic behind these decisions? Meanwhile, you can get Licky Licky as early as level 17 before even completing the second gym, with other Pokemon like Magnezone and Gallade being obtainable shortly afterward. So again, they're not being strictly faithful. This isn't Diamond and Pearl HD like so many thought it would be. Instead, they just pick and choose the most random things to include or exclude. There is zero rhyme or reason behind any of these decisions. There's other stuff from Platinum 2, like the early purchase outfits and being able to access the secret room in Team Galactic's Eterna building to change Rotom's form. It's like they're dangling Platinum content out in front of you on a fishing rod, but only going halfway to actually implement it into the game. And we're not talking about anything major here, just a collection of small changes that would make the game strictly better. They had all the ingredients and the cookbook for the world's best mac and cheese, and they opted to use Kraft instead. But it's a faithful remake, JPR, of course they wouldn't include anything from Platinum. Oh, yeah, you're right. That's why Eugene and Suicune didn't come back in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. That's why there wasn't a Delta episode in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, right? Because those were faithful remakes too. Oh wait, no, they actually did do those things. Silly me. Yes, these games are better than Diamond and Pearl, but you shouldn't strive to just be better versions of games that were incredibly unpolished. In my mind, you should be trying to make a game that competes with Platinum as the definitive Sinnoh experience. I just want to reiterate, I've had fun. The battles are great if you take the time to kill your Pokemon's affection. The Underground is fantastic, and it will only be better in the future when you can unlock the National Dex before you've even fought Gardenia thanks to Pokemon Home compatibility. It's way, way faster than any of the Gen 4 games. It doesn't feel nearly as tedious to play, Platinum included. It's just everything in between that leaves me scratching my head. These games aren't faithful when it comes to some completely random things, and in other places they're faithfully recreating the worst aspects of Diamond and Pearl. It's just the weirdest mixed bag of directing decisions I've ever seen. Did they want a new game or a faithful recreation? The Johto and Hoenn remakes were very clear that they wanted a lot of new content, and when it comes to faithfulness, I actually think Fire Red and Leaf Green are more faithful than these games. This just sits in an awkward middle ground where I can't wrap my head around what they were actually going for. The games look beautiful, the music is the best that it's ever been. They completely nail the presentation in my opinion, aside from some minor glitches, which admittedly are still quite fun to mess around with. But there's just too many aggravating design decisions that I can't overlook. I will say I hope ILCA comes back to do more remakes in the future. I especially think that if they remade Black and White in the same style, the end result would be far better. Those games already have a great foundation, and it's not like there's a Pokemon Gray for them to ignore. Of course, those are probably several years off in the future, though. As for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, these games are just fine. If you're like me and you didn't like Diamond and Pearl to begin with, I doubt these games will change your mind, but that's not to say it's all bad. At the end of the day, make your own judgments and decisions. I'm just the guy on the internet with too much free time on his hands. But if you did enjoy this video, I hope you'll leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.